Okay, so what we're going to be doing first is we got salt pork, and this ultimately is just bacon, but it just hasn't really been smoked for the most part. So if you can't get a hold of salt pork, you can use bacon, but it'll give a smoky flavor, which quite honestly you're not looking for in this. And we're going to end up getting about, I'd say about maybe a little bit more than that. Because what we want to do is we want to render out this fat. This is what we're going to be using for our oil or our fat. So when we do our onions and stuff like that, this is it. So that goes into the pot, and we're going to throw that on the stove, and we're going to render that fat down. While that's going on, we're going to go ahead and cut up an onion. Jesus Christ, this is making my eyes fucking tear up something fierce. Now this is a little bit of a tricky dish because we've got salt pork, which has salt in it, but we also are going to be using clam juice, and that's got salt in it. So you can't really start salting things and just think it's going to turn out. You kind of have to do the salt a little bit later on in the game. But I'm going to go ahead and I can put pepper on this now while the salt pork is rendering down. We're going to take the pieces of salt pork out, leave the fat. And the pieces of salt pork I'll slam because they don't go back in the soup. Technically you could leave it in there, but black pepper is the main, one of the main seasonings in this, so you have to make sure you put a good amount. So now that this is done, I'm going to put this to the side and I'm going to grab some potatoes, and I'm just using regular russet potatoes, baking potatoes. Now if you want to, you can peel these, and I used to, but honestly I just don't care anymore. I don't really see that big of a difference, other than just a little bit of an appearance difference, just because, you know, obviously there's a little bit of peel, but it doesn't really change the flavor that much. And quite honestly, it's kind of wasteful, you know. During the time that you're peeling, always look for little black parts and stuff inside your potatoes. And I should have probably mentioned that what I'm doing is I'm rendering the salt pork on a medium-low setting. Another thing that you want to do during the time that you're making this is don't use a thin pot, a thin bottom pot. If you do, you can burn it and it's going to taste like you're eating cigarette ash. You know, if that's the only thing you have, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to constantly stir the soup during the time that it's cooking, so on the bottom it doesn't burn, because even though it's liquid based, it can still burn on the bottom, and you'll get this nasty ass taste. So like right here I see a little bit of darkness, right? So I'm going to assume that there's something here and get rid of it. And lo and behold, I was right. That's why you look for the dark stuff. I'm going to get rid of this. I went ahead and I threw a couple of strips of the salt pork in here to render down, because it looked like I wasn't going to quite have enough fat. And we're getting close to where I'm going to start taking this stuff out. So now with that being done, we've got our fat and stuff inside here. And I'm leaving it on the same temperature level, but now we're going to throw our onions in. We're going to go ahead and we're going to saute these guys up and do it until it's about translucent. Some people might call that sweating the onion. I don't sweat onions. I don't sweat nothing. And then this stuff on the bottom is actually just flavor that hasn't been released yet. But that will come up. This will come up when we pour milk, or if we put some clam juice or whatever inside there. It'll come up. So then at this point what we do is we're going to end up throwing in our potatoes inside here. Looks okay. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to pour some clam juice in here. This is from the actual clams that we're going to be using. And now we're going to end up pouring half and half on top of this until it covers the potatoes. Which looks like I had the perfect amount. And we're going to bring that up to temperature and we're going to let this boil until the potatoes become soft, which is going to take a little while. And then after they become soft, that's when we're going to do the initial test of salt to make sure that it's got the right amount of salt in it. Also at this point we could add more black pepper, because like I was saying before, black pepper is a major seasoning in this. And don't add the clams, only add the juice. If you add the clams, they're going to shrink up and turn into like little rubber bands. Okay, so this has been boiling for a little bit. We have our potatoes inside here, and they're starting to kind of fall apart a little bit. They're starting to get a little not as firm, and we want these guys to become kind of soft, but we also want to have a little bit of a bite. If we want to, we can use a potato masher, kind of mash these up a little bit in order to thicken it up a little bit. But I gave it a little taste, and it needs more salt for sure, and it also needs more clam juice. I'm going to add some parsley flakes to this. And as soon as the potatoes become a little bit more tender, that's when I'm going to throw the actual clams in. But what I want to do is I want to take another taste right now to make sure that we have the right salt amount. So at this point I'm going to be adding clams to this. Okay. I'm going to save some of these for some linguine and clam sauce. Man, that smells like clam chowder. That's what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, I can't have this because of the onion and the black pepper. And I know in all my videos you're like, man, is there anything you can eat? Not really. Okay, so I know this is good. How do I know this is good? Because I slurped some in my mouth and I immediately wanted to swallow. I was just like sitting there, I'm like, man, it's like, this is so damn good, I just want to eat it. And I'm like, no, if you do, you're going to be in trouble. But this is good. This is really good. Let me make sure that this potato is soft enough. It is. And we, my friends, are finished. If you want to put more parsley on this, you can. But that's that. Let's go ahead and bowl up a plate of this. And before you bowl up it, you always give it a stir, because the heavy things have a tendency to go on the bottom and the fat rises to the top. So you give it a stir, so that way you know for sure that the person that you're serving is getting a good amount of all sorts of stuff in there. But that right there is looking pretty good. But clam chowder is not complete without the special ingredient. Some people like to have Tabascos on their also. But the secret ingredient is oyster crackers. That's the secret ingredient. Well, let's get the food tasting dummy in here. It's like a crash test dummy.
So this is like a regular, not a regular, but like just like,
that's my homemade manly clam chowder.
yeah, I definitely don't want to burn my fucking mouth with this. God damn it.
Really hot.
It's really hot. The potatoes hold all the fucking heat right there.
That's good. That's really good. Does it need more salt or anything?
No.
Black pepper?
Nope.
Tabasco?
I'm thinking of it.
But yeah, I took a taste of it. I was like, okay, that's good. I mean, but you can taste clam and stuff.
You can taste everything.
Okay.
Damn, my fucking mouth is burning. Gotta, hold on. I love potatoes. And these things are like, this thing's hot as fuck. It smells hella good. I was waiting just ever so patiently.
So you've eaten a lot of chowder before and stuff? Mm-hmm. So like, where does this one like rank?
The best. Because I've only had, there was a clam. Yeah, those clams are really good. Yeah, no, this is the best because I've only had like the actual,
Oh, like the cans and
the
stuff?
cans.
Yeah.
And then I think my dad or my mom made it before, but it was too peppery, so it wasn't like.
Oh, you mean like too much black pepper?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like this is all evenly like spread it out, and then the potatoes. I actually love the potatoes. How like thick and like they're not all like small.
Mm-hmm. It's chunky style. Like at the beginning of the video, I said men like chunky style.
These potatoes are burning the fuck out of my mouth though. Like they're the only things that are like keeping the heat.
Yeah, you have a tendency to do that. Every time I give you something, unless it's frozen, you fucking will just sit there and like, oh, it's boiling? Okay, I'll try it.
Yeah, this is one of your better kind.
Nice way to insult all my other ones.
No, I'm just saying that. No, I'm just saying that.
She's like, this one is digestible.